Here's why. People can see that they can get to one-star director. How many people do you need to be a one-star director? You need to have 3 personal prospects, okay? And you have to have 2 teams of 8. The first leg has to have 8 people in it, and the second leg has to have 8 people in it. People can realize that, well, if I can get 3 and then I promote to get 4, 2 in each side, okay, and help those 2 people in each leg get a couple. They can visualize that they can create a team of 8 in one side. They get that. They probably most of the time are thinking, well, God, I could do that in the first month. And now I'm making an average of $500 a month. See, guys, $500 isn't a lot of money. I understand it's not life-changing income, okay? But $500 is a car payment for some people. $500 is a way to have a 2-bedroom apartment instead of a 1-bedroom apartment. $500 is a new computer for one of the kids for school. $500 will typically pay for most utilities for a family. $500 isn't everything, guys. But in reality, $500 is a lot, especially when it's extra $500. It's not $500 coming out of their pocket, okay? The other thing that I like to promote also is when you sign somebody up, what's one of the vacations that they get? They get the free trip, incentive trip, okay? See, I always promote that, just for joining, we're going to give you a free week vacation. You can go just about any place, okay? We've got a couple of thousand places you can go, okay? And you can book that just a month or so after you get started with this. All you have to pay is the taxes on it, okay? Right there, guys, that's quite a bit. That's a couple of $1,000s to go stay at one of those places. And we give them that for free when they get started. So some people will say, well, I don't know. God, it's $400. Yeah, it's Can you believe that? It's only $400. I don't know how they charge that much. It should be 3 or 4 times that. I mean, think about it. $400 and we give you a free vacation in your first couple of months? That's amazing. See, that's what we bring to the table for people. Some people are thinking what it's going to cost them, okay? I like to talk about what it's going to cost them if they don't join, okay? I love talking about taxes. I'm not a tax guy, but I know for a fact that the average person that starts a home-based business with the intent to create profit can generate about somewhere between $2,500 and $6,000 a year of additional tax refund. Not a refund, additional tax refund, okay? Did you know that the average person that starts a home business with the intent to create profit, this isn't me saying this is the National Tax Institute that says this, that the average person can generate an average of $300 of additional money in the form of a tax refund just by starting a home-based business. Well, let me take it a little bit farther. If you start a home-based business with the intent to create profit, okay, you can, not if, not maybe, you can go to work, change your W-4 at work, that form you fill out every year, okay? And you have to put how many deductions you want. See, that W-4 deductions and your tax deductions aren't based on people. It's based on what your tax liability is going to be, okay? But most people don't know that because they're so used to filling out that form. And what do they fill out? Married, 2 kids, single, nobody, whatever it is they want. But you can legally and ethically go to work, change your deductions, and increase it by 6, a minimum of 6. And the average person creating the average income in the United States will generate a $300 increase in their take-home pay. They're basically getting the $300 additional take-home pay, but they don't get to get it at the end when they file their tax return. They're getting the tax benefits up front. Okay, so think about that. If it's costing you $135 a month for your business, but the average is about $300 of additional tax refund, how much is it really costing you? Okay. And that's what I talk to a lot of people about. It's not costing you anything to be in our business. It's costing you thousands not to be in our business. So let's think about that for just a second. You're not getting a free vacation right off the bat worth a couple of $1,000s. You're not getting tax benefits, which are an average of around 3 to 5,000. Let's say you're at the low end, you're at 3,000. So if you take the vacation couple of grand, you take the tax benefits, and you're at the low end, that's $3,000. That's a total of $5,000. Okay, you're going to get two more vacations during the middle of the year because you're paying $135 every month. Okay. So the total cost that you're going to spend is around $1,600, okay? But you're getting $5,000 back. Now, I don't know if any of you are gamblers, but if I knew that I could go to Las Vegas and bet $2,000 and I was going to get back five, oh man, I'd be standing there for a week. Just betting, throwing the money here. Here's my 2,000. Give me my five. Here's my 2,000. Give me my five. It's a win-win scenario, guys. It's not win-lose. It's a win-win scenario, and it's all created by talking to more people in the industry. Most companies, like we're what's called a binary pay plan. Okay, binary means two. Okay, you build two legs. Most of the compensation plans there, you build wide. You put everybody that you personally bring in goes to you personally, and stays as your front line. Okay, that's a tough gig. What most people don't like about binary compensation plans, which is what we are, okay, but we're different. You get paid on the lower leg, whatever the volume is on the lowest leg. So I'll give you an example. We know that, I'm just going to say an average. You become a one-star director, you have 8 people on one side, 8 people on the other. You would get paid $500, and that's it. Okay. Now you have to go get more people. And so what typically happens is you develop what's called a runaway leg, a leg that is going and building faster than the other leg. So you might have, say, 300 people in one leg, and you build the other leg up to 10. Well, you get paid on 10, okay? So what happens in most binary pay plans is you get paid on the on the lowest leg. So you would get paid on the 10 in one leg, and you'd get paid 10 of the 300 on the other leg. The next day you have 0 in one leg and you have 290 in the other leg. Now you've got to build up more volume in the 0 leg again. And the next time you do that, you get you get the $500. You have 10 people. Next day it goes to 0, and that 290 people in the other leg goes down to 280. What makes ours different? David doesn't do what's called flushing volume. Okay, when you have 300 people in the left leg, okay, and 10 people in the right leg, you get paid on the 10 and 10. But the next day, you still have 10 people in one leg and you've still got 300 in the other leg, okay? So now you build that weak leg that's got 10 in it. That's where you put all your focus in, because the big leg is just, you can't control it. You couldn't stop it if you wanted to, okay? So you start building the small leg. And that's where you focus on. And each time that leg gets to the next level, you start getting that next level pay. So at 1 star, you're going to get, I'm just going to say average of $500. Okay, so you get paid $500. Okay. Nobody quits, nobody stops, nobody does anything. Okay. Nobody has prospected, nobody has brought in any new people whatsoever. But guess what? You still get paid $500 the next month, and the next month, and the next month. And then that little leg, that small leg starts growing. You're still getting $500. That little leg gets up to a certain amount of numbers. Boom, now you're a 2-star director. Now you're making, excuse me, an extra $1,500 a month. But what happens is that following month, nobody sponsors anybody. Not one new person comes in. Guess what? You still get paid $1,500. Same thing happens the next month, another $1,500. You keep getting paid the volume that you have. But most other companies take the volume away every time you get paid. So with that scenario, it doesn't sound like Dave Hart built this business like any other networking company. He built it so people could make money. People could go on vacations. People could get unbelievable vacations at a very low price. Whether you're paying the monthly fee for the platinum membership, the $135, or you're not paying for it because you have 3 people, doesn't matter, okay? You're still getting 2 real vacations every year. You're still getting to write the taxes off on your tax returns. I had a guy tell me one time, oh, you know what, my brother wouldn't be interested in anything like this. You know, he's very wealthy. He's got all the money. He's financially debt free. I said, really? Does he have a house? Well, yeah. Does he have a house payment? Well, yeah. Well, he's not debt free then. Does he have cars? Yeah. How many cars does he have? Well, they've got 3. I said, they got 3 cars. 2 drivers, 3 cars? Yeah. Are they all paid for? Well, no, I'm sure he has a car payment or a lease. Well, then he's not debt free, okay? Don't ever think that somebody else isn't going to be interested, because your thought process with somebody that says that would be thinking to themselves, well, if my brother's boss came to work the next day and offered my brother a $2,000 a month raise, my brother would say, no, I'm okay. I've got all the money I need. That wouldn't happen. So we need to think about what we can do for them, not what we get to do for ourselves. 3, okay? But the key is that you just need to be talking to more people. That's all this. I'm telling you guys, it's that simple. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. Because most of you have to get out of your comfort zone. It's not comfortable talking to a perfect stranger. It's not comfortable talking to a family member sometimes, okay? But here's what I can tell you. Somebody's going to talk to them at some point in time. What you want them to do is say, oh, you know what? I think my friend John's involved in this. I should probably call John back and see if this is the same things John's doing. Because even though somebody says no at this point in time, they might be open-minded to it later, okay? And if nothing else, your job is just to keep dripping on them, okay? Keep letting them know that you're still in business, okay? And that is a mindset that's required, okay? Don't ever care what somebody else thinks about your business. Your business is there for whatever reason it was that you got started with Travorium. Whether it was to save money on vacations, whether it was to go on some inexpensive vacations, whether it was to buy tickets for concerts in your back office area, whether it was to save money on rental cars because you're an outside salesman and you have to go rent cars every once in a while, okay? Or maybe it was the fact that you're looking for a way to create some additional income. Maybe you're the guy and you're thinking, you know what? I could spend 5, 6 hours a week at this, and if I kept at it, from what I'm hearing, from what I'm seeing with other people in the other are in the business, I could generate a couple of $1,000s a month in the next, at least in the next 2 years, maybe sooner. Gosh, you know what? For an extra $2,000, I could bring my wife home from work. For an extra $2,000 a month, I could do this. For an extra $500, we could start putting a savings account together for our kids' college education. For an extra $500, I could give that money to my parents who are elderly now and need some financial assistance. Okay. That's how you've got to think, is what can you do for other people based on what their wants, needs, and desires are. If anybody has any questions, one more thing, grab a pencil and paper if you haven't already done it. The name of that website that I talked about was LEAD, L-E-A-D, Power, POWER.com, leadpower.com, but it's either leadpower.com or leadpower.net. Go in there, go to the top, click on training, scroll down just a little bit, and there is everything I talked about tonight. You can download all of it, okay? And there's a couple of getting started videos in there that I did not talk about tonight because you cannot download them to print out the printable material. And trust me when I say I'm not trying to get you to go look at that website so that you'll buy leads, okay? If you want to buy leads, that's fine. Don't buy anything on that from that company till you talk to me. Let me walk you through what the best deals are, what works the best, okay? I make nothing by you buying leads from there. Absolutely nothing. That's not what tonight was about. It was about letting you know that, hey, here's a website that's got some incredible information on recruiting, okay? It's not about our company. It's about building a team, okay? We've got some great leaders in our company. We truly do. But it's very rare that they tell you the nuts and bolts, okay? They give you a lot of guidelines, okay? But there's not too many of them that you can actually call and say, hey, I did this. This is what happened. What would you do differently? I did this. This is what happened. What are your thoughts, okay? But recruiting is what I do, okay? Just personally, I could care less about the travel. I didn't get in the business for the travel. I got in the business to make money, okay? Trying to repair bad mistakes in retirement. But I'm also having a blast at the same time. Trust me, I don't mind going on the vacations, trust me, but that wasn't the reason I got started, okay? When I first talked to Todd about this, he started telling me a little bit about the company. I said, oh, that sounds great. Tell me about the compensation plan. Well, let me tell you about the travel benefits we get. I don't care about that. Tell me what's the money. Show me the compensation plan. That's all I cared about. Signed up that day without seeing any video whatsoever. But it's because I knew Todd, okay? And I knew there was big money, and I knew Dave. I knew what his business ethics were. I knew his family. I've known his adult kids that run the company now since they were about 8, maybe 9 years old, okay? I was in their backyard shooting hoops with them one day, many, many years ago, obviously. But for those of you that are new on tonight that maybe haven't been with us for a while, let me tell you, it was the best decision you ever made. Do not quit. Do not give up. Just find somebody above you that will help you become successful, okay? And don't worry about the things you can't control because you can't control them. Okay?
Lee, could you give us your favorite 30-second elevator pitch?
Give me the circumstance.
Calling people that I know, that are business people that I have relationships with, but have no idea why I'm calling them.
Okay, great. So you're the guinea pig. Okay. Hey, Bruce, what's going on?
Living the dream, man. I'm retired.
Hey, no kidding. I am too. What are you doing in retirement?
Managing my own portfolio and seeing my kids and my grandkids.
I gotcha. Okay, awesome. Hey, are you guys traveling at all?
Some.
Okay. Would you like to travel more or less?
More.
More, okay, gotcha. Ann and I stumbled into a company a while ago. It turns out it's owned by a really great friend of mine in the travel industry. And they're doing things, Bruce, in the travel industry that have never, ever been done before. It's unbelievable. When I saw this, I went, oh, sure. When the guy that was going to tell me about this was telling me, I went, oh, okay. But it turned out to be 100 times better than it was. Think of Netflix only in the travel industry, okay? You're buying travel at cost, wholesale, okay? Everybody knows that there's a lot of travel websites out on the internet. That's all retail. We get the same exact stuff, same everything, hotel, cruise line, all-inclusive resorts, rental cars, everything and more at wholesale pricing. And Bruce, let me tell you, there's a compensation plan that goes with it that you might be interested in, even if you're retired. I have a lot of people that are going into retirement and see this as a way to really bolster their retirement plan. I had one guy just recently said, "Hey, you know what? If I can make enough money to pay for all my vacations, man, I wouldn't be dipping into my own personal account." So, would you be interested in seeing some information? I know you got to get going, but I'd love to tell you a little bit more about it.
I can spend some time on this.
Okay, great. What are you doing tomorrow afternoon?
I'm retired.
That's right. Okay, can I buy you lunch?
Oh my God, yes.
Well, let's go. Let's meet for lunch. I'll call you in the morning. We'll figure out a time and place.
You rock. Look forward to it.
Sounds great, buddy. Bye-bye. Okay. I mean, that would be somebody that I know, okay, which is what Bruce said. This is somebody he's acquainted with. Now, you can't do that to somebody that lives in 3 states away from you. But if you lived in the same area, I'd meet you for lunch. And I wouldn't even talk about business until you brought it up. It wouldn't even be brought up. We'd be just catching up a little bit. So that's what I would typically do. But I think you can tell I've done it a few times. But the first time, oh man, it was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster. But guess what? And that was when I had years and years of experience, not only in the travel industry, but in the networking industry. But this was different. I was a new guy. I didn't know the right thing to say. I didn't know about the discounts and the cost pricing and all that kind of stuff. Okay, I knew the compensation plan, and that's pretty much what I talk to people about, and still do today. Okay, I very rarely open a conversation up about traveling. I just don't. Okay, why? Because it's so easy to talk about the cost of living. Especially if you're at the grocery store or any place. Okay, I mean my my experience at Walmart with my $75 ink cartridge that happened 2 months ago. I mean, I talked to the guy and said, "Oh my God, $75! Are you kidding me? A month ago I was paying $42 for this thing." I must have talked to 3 people at Walmart that day before I got out of there, just about that $75. And guess what? They all related. And several of the people, except for this one cranky guy, the other 2 people I actually talked to, have you ever thought about looking at some way in your spare time that you could compensate for how expensive everything is getting? Okay. And so, it didn't work out for those 2 people, but guess what? I didn't know that. They could have been the 2 biggest studs in my business ever. But I wouldn't have known it if I wouldn't have talked to them. So just talk to everybody as fast as you can. Okay. There's a number that's your number, Bruce, and everybody else on this call. You have a number. We just don't know what it is. And here's the question. Do you want to get that number in the next 6 months? Or do you want to do it in the next 3 years? Faster is better.
I have a 3-month, a 6-month, a 12-month, and a 24-month.
There you go. Good. I decided to create to work with a company based out of San Diego that set me up with a digital business card. Okay. Now I know there's a lot of people that have digital business cards, but they don't have anything like my digital business card. Okay. My digital business card is not only a business card, but it's a marketing tool and a funnel that I can put all my prospects into. And the system automatically starts sending them information about my business. So when I give them a business card, my digital business card, they can either scan my phone, or I have a card that's got a QR code on it. They can scan that, and the first thing I tell them to do is share share your information with me. Name, phone number, email address, and their birthday. Okay. And their birthday is really cool because the system that I'm using actually sends everybody, no matter who it is. So as time goes on, if you're on this call tonight, you'll be added onto my system, and you'll get a digital business birthday card from me. Okay. If you're at Walmart or the grocery store or a restaurant, okay, you can't really do a whole lot, but if you can collect their information, okay, then all of a sudden now you've got a way to get back with them. And I'm not sending anybody a video until I've had a conversation with people now. Okay. So let's say I'm back talking to Bruce. So we'll do this a little bit different. Okay. And I asked Bruce, I said, well, listen, Bruce, even though you're retired, okay, you guys are going to travel some, aren't you? You are? Okay, great. Well, let me ask a question. If there was a company out there that you've never heard of before, but it's been around for 13 plus years, they do business in 7 countries around the world, and they allow people to buy their travel at wholesale, which is typically somewhere between 40 and 70% less than you can buy it for on the internet, okay? If you could save that kind of money, here's where the yes answer comes into play. Would that be a financial benefit for you? See, there's a big difference between asking it that way and saying, well, is that something you might be interested in? Well, they could say no to that. But if I ask it in the phrase of, would that be a financial benefit for you and your family, Bruce, to be able to buy your travel at wholesale somewhere between 40 and 70% less than you can get anywhere else? Would that be a financial benefit for you? Well, Bruce has to answer yes. If he says no, it wouldn't. I say, well, hey, well, great. It was good talking with you. Okay. Would it be a benefit for you if you could create a second stream of income for yourself if it didn't take a lot of time away from your daily routine, away from your family? Would that be a benefit for you to create some extra income for yourself? Well, that's a yes or no question. Okay. So then if you got into taxes, would it be a benefit for you if you could add an additional $3,000 to $6,000 a year onto your tax refund? I don't know what you paid last year, but if you owed something, maybe this would be a situation that you wouldn't owe anything. Or if you did get a refund, wouldn't it be great if you got an additional $3,000 or $4,000? Would that be a financial benefit for you? Well, yeah, okay. So when you ask questions that they have to answer yes to, that sure makes it a whole lot easier than asking open-ended questions where they can babble on about nothing for 5 minutes, okay? So now, what's the purpose of asking the questions that way? It's very simple, okay? If I ask 4 questions and they say yes to all 4 questions, then I can say, you know what, Bruce, it sounds to me like we need to sit down and really have a serious conversation. You just said yes to me 4 times that pertain to how my company operates. Oh, well, yeah, that sort of makes sense. Nobody's going to say yes 4 times and then say no. They're just not, okay? So that's just a little tool that you can use. And a lot of that comes in the videos that I talked about on leadpower.com.